Rabbit just crossed down there.
I was recently running my dogs and a rabbit came across the lane, and all of my dogs, I believe I had like 9 or 10 dogs at the time, they came across the lane running a rabbit. So I want to take a minute to analyze what I saw so that it may better help you in when you're evaluating your dogs and looking for different things in your pack. And this is not focusing on the individual dog, but this analyzation is focusing on the pack. The rabbit came across, and my dogs are pretty fast, so probably about 25 to 30 seconds after the rabbit came across, the dogs came across in a pack. All the dogs were right in there together, but I want to analyze what happened. Tyson was leading, and Mayweather was close behind. And then I believe it was Miss Dot, and then all of the puppies. I had about 3 or 4 puppies in the pack then, and then which dog I call Mama, Ebby, Ebby was leading up the rear. Tyson, then Ebby was behind. Ebby was in the back. When Mayweather and Tyson came across, well, right before they crossed the full lane, you notice that they turned to the right. They were leading the pack, but at the same time, they were subject to what the dogs behind them were doing as well. A lot of times when some dogs may be running at the front of the pack, but that dog still may not be your pack leader. Sometimes people often mistake the dog that's running in the front as the pack leader. You have to really watch the dog carefully to see who's taking the track, who's determining the direction that the dogs turn. Sometimes when you have a dog with a big mouth, they often is the pack leader, or a dog with a weird type of bark, that they often will determine what way the pack turn. Because of that sound of that dog, the pack will automatically turn towards that dog. My Tebow dog is like that. When Tebow is running with the pack, if he barks, all the dogs will turn whatever way he barks, because his voice is so deep and so big that it automatically draws them his way. And sometimes Miss Dot, because she has the deep voice, it'll do the same thing. But you have to look and really notice. But Tyson and Mayweather turned to the right because I believe the pack was pushing them to the right. Now, if you notice, sometimes when dogs are running in the front, they will often throw their head up every now and then to see which way the pack is going. Especially in bigger packs, you'll see that. So Tyson and Mayweather were leading, and then they veered to the right. And when they veered to the right, all the dogs behind them, or that was right there with them, veered to the right almost simultaneously with them. And that's how dogs do in a pack. That's why you have to make sure that the dogs that are running the front are very good dogs. Because if not, they will cause so many breakdowns in the race. So Tyson Mayweather turned to the right. They were leading the pack. They were running a rabbit. There's no doubt that both of them were leading a rabbit. They came out of the woods first. They was right there together. They was right on the track of the rabbit, and they turned to the right. Now, this is where some people who run medium speed or what you call slow dogs would say they don't like dogs that lead the other dogs off the track. But oftentimes when you're running fast dogs will overrun the track a few yards or throw the dogs off a few yards. Now, I don't mind my dogs overrunning the track 5 and 10 yards. But when they get in overrunning the track 15, 20, and 30 yards, that means you seriously have a problem, because you're going to lose a lot of rabbits like that. But overrunning that track or turning off of it 5 yards here or there is not really going to affect the race that much. And as you see in the video, Tyson Mayweather turned to the right. The other dogs turned to the right. Even the puppies behind turned to the right. The puppies behind were not really, they were just in the race to me. They were barking on the track when they smelt it, but they wasn't leading, but they wasn't holding up the rear. After Tyson and Mayweather came out, turned to the right, the other dogs turned to the right, Ebby was in the back. Now, this is sometimes why some people will get rid of a dog that they say is too slow or the pack is pulling. Now, if the pack is pulling the dog, you have to watch for that, but this was a different scenario. Ebby was running in the back. Ebby is a hot nose, on the track, if she lose a rabbit, she's going to work it from the inside out type of dog. She's almost, I would say, the perfect dog that you want in the middle or at the rear of your pack. Because no matter how fast those other dogs run, no matter what direction they turn, she's going to stay on that track as best as she can. This is how you prevent a lot of breakdowns along what we call checks. Checks is a time when the dogs lose a rabbit and they're looking for the rabbit. Field trialers, a lot of field trialers calls it check. Rabbit hunters just calls it place where they lost the rabbit at. So Ebby came in the rear. She noticed that all the dogs turned right. And I believe she veered right a little bit. But she knew when they didn't bark that they didn't have the rabbit. So she kept on to the left or kept straight a little bit. She picked the rabbit back up and all the dogs fell back in right behind her. That's the perfect scenario of what you want to happen, especially if you're running a fast pack. You want, if the dog's in the front or in the middle or whatever, the dogs that are leading, if they veer off 3 to 5 yards here or there, that you have another dog in the middle or in the back of your pack that's going to understand that these dogs don't have the rabbit. They're off the track a little bit. So I need to turn the opposite direction of what they turn, or I need to keep straight if they turn, just to see if I can pick up the track. Tyson, Mayweather, other dogs turned to the right. Ebby recognized that because she was coming up in the rear. They don't have the rabbit because they didn't bark. Boom, she picked it up, took them right back on. They kept the rabbit going. And that's why you don't have a lot of breakdowns. That's how sometimes some people think that like a lot of dogs catch the rabbit based on speed. Sometimes you do catch it on speed, but the main reason why a lot of dogs catch rabbit is less breakdowns in the race. The less breakdowns you have in the race, the more pressure you can put on the rabbit. I've seen or heard of just as many medium speed dogs catching rabbit as fast dogs. It's just all about that constant pressure. Not necessarily speed all the time, because if you have speed and you're overrunning the track and losing the rabbit, then the speed is not helping you out. If the pack is running medium speed, but they constantly losing the rabbit, then being able to stay on the track is not helping you out because they're not staying on the track. So constant pressure, having dogs that can stay tight on the line. Me, I like them to swing a little bit. I like them to gamble. Tyson gambles. I like my dogs to gamble. Sometimes they're wrong, sometimes they're right. I don't know whether it's 50% they're right, 50% they're wrong. I don't know, but I like them to gamble a little bit. But I do have some dogs in there that don't gamble as much, and therefore, just like this race, when all those dogs turned to the right, Ebby kept it, picked it back up. Now, eventually, what happened? Tyson, Mayweather, and probably Miss Dot, and maybe one of the puppies came back and took over the front. But Ebby was still right in there. She's a priceless dog to have in any pack. That dog that may not be the first one to jump, but very hot nosed, and it's gonna make sure that if the pack get off, they're gonna be right there on that. I hope that helped you out watching this video. I'm about to stop the video because my squirrel dog Prime Time is barking like crazy. But I'm out here at my parents' house. They have a beautiful scenery. These woods behind me is where I grew up squirrel hunting. This is where it all started for me. So this is home to me. So I want to take the time to analyze that video, analyze that small segment that I recorded of that rabbit coming across and the dogs coming across right behind it. That was so pivotal. And then you notice one thing that I didn't mention. After they lost it, Drone also picked up, and he was in front of Ebby, but he also picked up that the rabbit was lost, and he was going back to the original place that they lost the rabbit, which is a very good thing, because if they lose it, I want my dogs to go back to the original place they lost it, last place they smelled it, and then work their way out from there. Drone was in the process of going back to where they lost the rabbit at, and then that's when Ebby picked it up. He turned around. He was the last one to get back in there, but still, he did a wonderful thing by going back to where they originally lost it. That cannot be taught. It just has to be bred in the dog, and you have to hope they have it, that when they lose that rabbit, they go back to the original place or somewhere close to it to see where the rabbit is at. But I hope that helped you, and it really gave me a good picture of what my dogs were doing. Oftentimes when you're running dogs, you don't get to see that, but just so happened it was in an open area where I could see what was going on, and it really gave me a good picture to see what the dogs were doing, what this dog was doing in the front, what this dog was doing in the back, because the one in the back is just as important as the one in the front. Do not get rid of dogs just because one runs in the back. So oftentimes that may be the main dog that's keeping that race going. Hope that helped you. This is Tremaine Benson. Stay tuned, and you hope we'll bring you more from Benson's Kennel. Peace.